Welcome to the series where I test out money-making methods from the OSRS Wiki. Feel free to leave suggestions on which moneymaker you'd like to see next. And also, if you didn't already know, I have a nice playlist that I've created that has all of the previous moneymakers that I've already tried, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. With that being said, let's get into the video. So for today's moneymaker, we'll be taking a look at a activity that I haven't done in a very long time. I think the last time I was stringing bows, it was probably whenever I was trying to max out my fletching skill, so this will be pretty fun. Now the comment did ask for magic longbows to be strung, but even then I still did a price check to see what the best bows would be in terms of profit, and currently it is the magic longbows. And honestly, the best bows that you can string, meaning like the higher the level requirement, the better, because obviously you're going to get more experience per hour as well. As shown here in the wiki, it says that we'll be getting around 220,000 fletching XP, so that's some pretty good gains along with the nice amount of money that we should be making as well. Now this definitely isn't the fastest way to level up your fletching, but honestly it's a pretty good way because you're not wasting money. Like if you were going to do darts, yeah, that is a whole lot faster, but it's also going to cost you a whole lot more money. So I'd say that stringing bows is actually a pretty good method of training and making some decent money. Now as for the gear setup, since we're going to be pretty much bank standing the entire time, you don't need to worry about any equipment to bring. All you need is the magic longbows and the bowstring. So go ahead and wear your best fashionscape or nothing at all. Now as for the bank setup, I will be having the bowstring and the magic longbows in the same tab, and I'll be using bank fillers just to make banking a little bit easier. So I'll be moving these items towards the bottom next to the deposit inventory button just for faster banking, and we will also be using the X quantity option to left click 14 of each one. And here you see that I put a screen marker over the deposit inventory button, and that'll also help with lining it up with the bank chest so we don't have to do that much moving around. We'll be using the camera zoom plugin in Runescape to get a little bit closer to the bank, and as you can see here, we are lined up perfectly with the deposit inventory button, so the banking should go very smoothly this way. And with all of those things being set up, we can now begin the 1 hour of stringing these magic longbows. Now this is a very easy moneymaker. All you gotta do is click on the magic longbow and the bowstring, and then either click on the picture in the chat box or hit spacebar to make all of them. And as you can see here, I did leave the area to go catch a dragon impling. We got 6 snapdragon seeds, and I'd say that's definitely worth it because we'll basically be doubling the amount of money that we're going to make in this 1 hour, although I will not count that towards the total profit after this 1 hour, but it was still nice to see that. Normally, I don't interrupt the activity that I'm doing for an impling, but that was a dragon impling, and I haven't seen one of those in a very, very long time, so I just had to go grab it. And I know that if I didn't go grab it, I'd have someone in the comments saying that I missed out on it, so there we go. It's similar to one of my most recent videos where I was opening up the ogre coffins, and there was a gourmet impling that was just tempting me. It was right next to me. It literally would have taken like a millisecond to grab it, but it wasn't that rare of an impling, so I decided not to mess with it, but this one I just had to go for it. But enough about that impling, let's get back to the moneymaker. Like I said, it's not a very complicated moneymaker, it's very simple, it's low effort, and you can AFK for quite some time before you have to get a new inventory of longbows and bowstring. Now I did say earlier that I did this method to 99 fletching, and again, that was quite some time ago. I believe it was my second skill that I got to 99, so yes, it has been some time since I've strung some longbows, but honestly this video couldn't have come at a better time because recently at Tears of Guthix I've been getting XP in fletching, and it's such an easy skill that I feel like I'm wasting my Tears of Guthix on that. So after this 1 hour, it shouldn't be the lowest skill anymore, and we'll be getting XP in some other skills, hopefully runecrafting or agility. Actually, yeah, I prefer agility. Runecrafting isn't that bad. Now, the guide that we're using from the wiki is actually pretty cool because it basically combines 2 different moneymakers. So after you've already made the magic longbows, you can either choose to sell them at the GE, or you can keep them for yourself and use them to high alch and train some magic. And if you did choose to go the high alch route, then you can expect to make 78,000 magic experience per hour, assuming that you, of course, high alch 1200 items. so you might want to consider doing that, especially if you're hitting buy limits on some other items that you use to high alch. Now, as for the item itself, the magic longbow, it's basically the only longbow that really has any use. The other longbows, you never really see people using them unless they're a noob or they're just messing around. This longbow does have the special attack of it guaranteeing a hit. It consumes 35% of the special attack bar, and it is also shared with the magic combo. They both have the same special attack. It's also important to know that the damage inflicted by this special attack is unaffected by damage boosting prayers such as Eagle Eye and the Slayer Helmet imbued. But nevertheless, this bow still does have a use. I myself have, I think I had 10 magic longbows in my bank before starting this moneymaker, and those were for Callisto. The bow is good for luring Callisto out into the safe spots, and it's also good for the special attack whenever Callisto is on low health and you just can't quite seem to do any damage because of the high defense bonuses. And besides that, the only other place that you would really use this bow at is probably for an elite clue step, or maybe some fashion escape, I don't know. As for drop sources of this bow, the only place you can get it to drop from is a reward casket hard. Unless the wiki's wrong and there's another place that you can get it from, but I don't believe any monsters drop this bow. Now, some of you may already know that I've recently obtained a pet. I left it in a comment on my last video, and if you follow me on Twitter, then you already know what pet it was. But for those of you that don't follow me on Twitter, which you definitely should, here is the pet that I received. It is the fishing pet, the pet heron, and honestly, I was pretty excited to get this pet. I've been here at Sacred Eels pretty much ever since I've unlocked the ability to catch them, so it has been a long journey. I believe we had 19 million fishing experience by the time we finally got him. So yeah, that was pretty nice to see. And with that being said, we have finished our 1 hour of getting these magic longbows strung. And as you can see here, I already had some in the bank, so they went there. So we ended up making 24.92, valued at around almost 3.1 mil, so not a bad amount. We can now, of course, head over to the GE, put them in there for a reasonable price. I'm putting them in there for one under the actively traded price, and I'll just let them sit there. But if you're patient, definitely put them in there for around market price or a little bit higher. Let them sit there overnight, and they should eventually sell. As we can see here, they did finally sell for 3,075,128 GP. So now we can go ahead and move over to the next screen to see how much total profit we made from this 1 hour. So if we take the total cost of supplies, which was the magic longbows unstrung and the bowstring, we get 2,766,120 GP. Subtract that from the total amount of money that we made, which was 3,075,128 GP. We get a grand total profit of 309,008 GP. We made just a little bit more than the estimated 2,400 magic longbows, but you could probably make even more than I did because we did experience some lag throughout the moneymaker. But yeah, I'd say this is a pretty decent moneymaker. It's fairly low effort, and we also get a nice chunk of fleshing XP. We received 228,000 fletching XP from this 1 hour, so definitely not a bad training method. And with all of that nice XP being gained, we have now saved ourselves a couple weeks of not having to train a fletching. So now whenever we do Tears of Gothics, we should be getting experience in some other skills. I went ahead and did my weekly Tears of Gothics, and we did end up getting XP in rune crafting, so definitely happy about that. 200 mil, here we come. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and possibly a subscription. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.